In this video, we'll look at the three different sections of the NHS Pension Scheme that are currently running: the 1995, the 2008 and the 2015 section. We'll look at the contribution basis, the normal retirement age, how much you might get, and also what happens on death. If there's any particular section you want to jump to, you can do so using the timestamps in the description down below. Now, even with the significant changes made by the introduction of the 2015 section, these pension schemes are still some of the best available. And this makes it especially disheartening that, and this particularly applies to nurses, the opt-out rate is some of the highest amongst public and private sector pension schemes. And I can completely understand why, as my wife did exactly that. She opted out of the 1995 section, and then when she did opt back in a few years later, her only choice was the 2015 section. And she opted out quite simply as she saw the high rate of contribution and the impact this had on her net pay. And at the time it was unaffordable to her when factoring in rent, the area she lived in, no pay increases. Hopefully though, by the end of this video, you'll see the benefits of this scheme even against that high level of contribution that you have to pay in. And I just want to briefly summarize with the following reasons as to why, in simple terms, these are still valuable schemes. Number one, they are guaranteed to pay out until you die. Number two, they continue to pay a proportion of whatever you receive to your spouse or civil partner if they survive you. Number three, it won't be affected by the ups and downs of the stock market. Number four, has a measure of protection against inflation. The pension payments will increase over the years. In contrast, a defined contribution pension, basically a personal pension, is exposed to all of these risks and uncertainties. The two of these schemes are known as defined benefit. The 1995 and 2008 sections are final salary pensions, paying a proportion of the salary you're on at the point you retire. The 2015 section, on the other hand, pays an average of your earnings over the course of your entire career, which includes the start when the earnings would have been at their lowest. Clearly, this is one of the reasons that the 2015 section is often deemed less generous, and this was made worse when some members were automatically moved to the 2015 scheme. And if you aren't sure which of these sections applies to you, then you definitely need to head over to the NHS Business Services Authority. The link is below, as it is very possible you could be in more than one of these sections. Please, if you're getting value from this video, don't forget to hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel and makes me feel like I'm doing a good job and makes me feel a whole lot better about myself. So how much you contribute into your NHS pension is based on your pensionable pay or full-time equivalent. This does not include overtime if you are full-time, but it can in some circumstances if you work part-time. There are 7 contribution tiers ranging from 5% to 14.5%, and these are at the following rates for 2021 to 2022. By way of an example, someone on £30,000 would have a contribution rate of 9.3% gross, which is actually a net contribution of 7.44%, having taken 20% basic rate tax off, or this will be £186 per month off of your net pay. The contribution itself is taken off of your pay before tax is taken. So in effect, you'll get tax relief based on the level of income tax you pay, whether 20, 40 or 45%. And in addition to this, an extra contribution of 20.6% is paid on top of your own contribution. These rates are significantly higher than you would see under a personal pension arrangement via a private company. Currently under auto-enrollment, the minimum contribution rate is only 8%. So this is a lot more when you consider the total gross contribution for someone on £30,000 is approximately 30%. But the only bit that directly impacts your pay is your contribution, which on £30,000 is 7.44% net. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of when you can take your NHS pension. Normal pension age is determined by which scheme you're on. The 1995 section, it is 60 years old. The 2008 section, it's 65 years old. And the 2015 section, it is your state pension age. So depending on your age, it is between 66 and 68. Now you can take these earlier than these dates, technically from age 55, but you will face a reduction in the level of pension received taking into account the fact that the pension will pay out for a longer period of time. Or if you leave the NHS before these ages, then you'll become a deferred member and then you can access them at the normal pension age. Also, and this is quite likely, if you end up with more than one, then you would be able to access them at the normal pension age that applies to each of them. For example, my wife has the 1995 section, which she could take at age 60, and she has the 2015, which she can take at her state pension age, which would be 68. As far as what you're likely to get from these pensions when you take them at the normal pension age, they are calculated slightly differently for each section. Now, I appreciate that these look a bit crazy, these calculations, but they are really not that bad. And honestly, with a calculator or Excel spreadsheet, it's reasonably simple to work them out. The 1995 section, your pension is 1/80th of the best of the last 3 years' pensionable pay for each year of membership in the scheme. Now, the pension is calculated as follows. Pensionable pay times pensionable membership in days equals the level of pension that you are going to receive. And here's a nice little example. We've assumed the best of pensionable pay in the last 3 years of work was £33,000 with 15 years of service, or 5,475 days. The pension is calculated as follows, which would ultimately equal a £6,187.50 per year pension. Now, the 2008 section, slightly different in that it is based on the average of the best 3 consecutive years pensionable pay in the last 10 years of your career in the NHS, and this is based on 1/60th for each year of membership. We'll use the same example using £33,000 and 15 years of service, and the calculation is as follows, which would ultimately equal £8,250 of income in retirement. And this was changed significantly with the 2015 section, which is based on career average. The pension is based on your pensionable pay throughout your membership. Each year, 2 calculations are applied to a proportion of your annual income. The first of these is the build-up rate. This is the amount of pension you earn each year and is worked out via the build-up rate, which is a fraction of your pensionable earnings. The build-up rate in this scheme is 1/54th. So you earn a pension each year of 1/54th of your pensionable earnings, and this is calculated really simply by dividing your pay by 54. And the second calculation is revaluation. The pension each year will also be increased by a rate known as revaluation in the period before you retire or leave. The revaluation rate is determined by Treasury orders plus 1.5%. Each year you are an active member. So Treasury orders are the method by which the Treasury notifies the value of the change in prices or earnings to be applied. We'll use a nice simple example of how this works in practice. Let's take our £33,000 earned in year 1. The pension would be 1/54th of this, which is £611. This is then revalued using the revaluation figure, say by 3.5%, to give a pension of £632 at the beginning of year 2. And this carries on each year someone is a member of the scheme. By way of an example, by year 15, this would work out to be approximately £11,800 per year. So this individual would have a pension of £11,800 per year that increases and is guaranteed for their life. Now, what's interesting is that to buy the equivalent pension on the open market that is guaranteed and increases each year for the rest of your life, you would need a fund of approximately £500,000. That is a personal pension with that value in it to buy the equivalent pension available from the NHS pension. Now, this is one of the key reasons why the contribution rates are so high. Or the easier way to find out how much you're due to get is via an annual benefit statement through the Total Reward Statement portal, where you can also see the impact of taking retirement lump sums, where available, survivor benefits, how your pension is worked out, etc. Now, we did try to do this to show you, but for whatever reason, we couldn't get the gov.uk verified sign-in, wasn't working, and so I may well do a video on that for another day when it is actually up and working, just to show what this looks like. Now, we'll just cover off the death benefits. The NHS Pension Scheme provides lump sum and pension benefits in the event of your death. The benefits will vary depending on your circumstances at the time of death and whether you are drawing on, are a deferred or active member of the scheme. And to be fair, To do this justice, it probably needs a whole video in its own right to explain all of the variations. In summary, it is as follows. Lump sum on death. Now, you can nominate that your spouse, registered civil partner, or qualifying nominated partner receive a lump sum when you die. The lump sum will be approximately 2 times annual earnings. There's also the possibility of an adult's dependent pension. An adult's dependent pension is payable for life to an eligible spouse, civil partner, or nominated qualifying partner. The benefit is worth around 34% of the full pension. In addition to this, there's also the possibility of a children's pension. Now, a children's pension are payable for an eligible child or children under the age of 23. The benefit is worth around 17% of the full pension. Thank you so much for watching. Please do let me know in the comments below should you have any questions or queries at all, or would like to see any videos made on any other topics around this area. See you next time. Bye.